Hi, this is Brian. Welcome to Philosopher's Notes TV. Today we've got Money and the Law of Attraction by Esther and Jerry Hicks. As always, great book, 6-page PDF Philosopher's Notes, one of 100 Philosopher's Notes. If you haven't gotten them yet, hook yourself up. So Money and the Law of Attraction, Esther and Jerry Hicks. Robin Sharma, a friend of mine, one of my favorite authors, we did his book, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, recommended this book to me when I was in Bali. I immediately went to the little awesome Namaste bookshop, picked it up, and just absolutely loved it. And then got a couple more Esther and Jerry Hicks books, The Astonishing Power of Emotions and The Amazing Power of Deliberate Intent. And those four books, that book, those two, and then Ask and It Is Given are four of my favorite books by them and four of my favorite books, period. I've done 3 notes on Esther and Jerry Hicks. I'm still more than a little bit freaked out by the fact that they channel beings from another dimension, but I've gotten over that because the wisdom they channel is just extraordinary. And let's cover a few of my favorite big ideas from it now before we run out of time with me babbling. All right, so the first big idea here, money and the law of attraction. So if we want to circulate more wealth, more abundance in our lives, we want to pay attention to a few different things. They say the first most important thing to think about is the fact that your problems, your shortages of money that you perceive, your shortages of time, your shortages of anything that you perceive in your life has nothing to do with those things. It has to do with a shortage of connection to source, a shortage of a connection to the energy, as they say, that creates planets, that creates our universe. When we have a shortage of that connection, we experience a shortage of money, of time, of all the other things we want to have in abundance in our lives. And they say that if we want to have those things in abundance, the answer is simple. Plug into source. Plug in and shine, really. So the book is all about that. That's the way that we circulate abundance in our lives. I absolutely love that. And as you know, if you've watched some of these episodes on their work or if you've read the notes, one of their big ideas that I just love is we can tell how connected we are to source by how alive we feel. We have an emotional guidance system. Now we're conditioned so much and we're socialized so much to do the things that we think we should do that we lose a sense of what that deep connection is, what it feels like to be connected to God, to source, to the universe, whatever you want to call it. They say what it feels like is it feels really, really good. When you're connected to source, when you're plugged in, when you have that abundance, it feels really good. You feel joyful, you feel appreciative, you feel loving, you feel free, you feel empowered, and you know that life is extraordinary. Those are the top 6 emotions of their emotional guidance system. And when you're feeling that, you can be assured that your emotional fuel tank is on full, right? When you're feeling helpless and depressed and totally disempowered, you can trust that you're unplugged. And I like to think of it kind of like a light socket, right? And I look at my ultimate highest goal in life is to plug into the divinity within the universe that's within me, to plug into that just like a light bulb, right? And then see how brightly I can shine. Am I going to be a 20-watt bulb that kind of comes unplugged and sometimes it's plugged in and flickers, right? And if 100 watts came through it, it would just literally blow it up. Or can I be a 1,000-watt light bulb, right? That's a lighthouse that's unwavering, unflickering, totally plugged in and shining the light that can inspire others, literally be a beacon of what's possible. That's literally how I see my creative challenge, the game of life, is to see just how plugged in I can get and just how much energy I can shine into the world with joy, with love, with appreciation, with the sense of empowerment, freedom, and knowing that I just mentioned is their highest emotional experiences in our emotional guidance system. So we're going to talk about that a lot. This is really my life's work, is to live that and to inspire and empower you to do the same. So they say that your lifetime career, I love this idea. We're talking about being plugged in. We're talking about how you know when you're plugged in by whether you feel good or not. They say your lifetime career, if they had met us at the beginning of our life journeys, they would have told us that our job, our ultimate job, is to seek joy. is to feel good, which is almost funny to imagine being counseled like that. I imagine when I went to my guidance counselor in high school and in college, it was more like, fill in this bubble. Oh yeah, you'd be pretty good at this, or pretty good at that, whatever. A little different to imagine, well, your job is to seek joy. So what I want you to do is I want you to really get clear on what makes you feel most alive. When do you feel most radiantly alive? That's your job, to discover that and then to do that consistently, right? And then use life as an opportunity to discover the things that make you fired up and the things that don't make you fired up, which is what they say life is all about. It's offering us distinctions consistently to see, well, no, you know what, that's not quite it. And they say anytime we're stressed, which we talk about in the note, anytime that we're stressed, we want to pivot. We want to get clear that whatever we're experiencing right now is what we don't want. Well, that can be a very, very helpful thing. When we know what we don't want, we need to pivot and ask the question, what do I want? I know I don't want this. I don't want to feel this way. What do I want? I want to feel this way. It's an incredibly powerful thing to pivot from knowing what you don't want to asking yourself, what do I want? What do I want in this situation? What do I want in my life in general? It's a powerful thing. It works when you're seeking your career. It works in a relationship everywhere. If you're in an argument with someone you love, or even someone you don't love that much, the question becomes, what do I want? You don't want to be in an argument. You want to be in a peaceful state where you feel understood and you feel a connection to the individual. And when you ask that question, what do I want? Well, that's what I want. Then you just stepped out of the unconscious cycle of repeating the behavior that doesn't work, and you're asking yourself what you want, and you're much more likely to align your actions with that desire, with that intention. It's a really cool idea, and they call it the pivoting process. So that's big. But back to the whole idea of the lifetime career. They say you want to seek joy. Now this is nearly identical to what Joseph Campbell says. Joseph Campbell, who's inspired them greatly, told us, you might recall from all these notes and episodes, to follow our bliss. Joseph Campbell, great mythology expert of the 20th century, and he discovered that, he said, follow your bliss. And he discovered that from the Upanishads, the classic religious texts of Hinduism, right? Where he discovered that there were 3 jumping off points into enlightenment: Sat, Chit, and Ananda. Proper beingness, which is Sat, proper consciousness, which is Chit, and Ananda, which is bliss or rapture. Those are 3 jumping off points into our enlightenment. And he said, look, if I'm honest, I don't know what proper beingness is. I don't know what proper consciousness is. I can pretend I do, but I really don't understand that. But I do know what my bliss is. I do know what gives me joy, what makes me feel extraordinarily good. I can follow my bliss. And he jokingly says in the interview with Bill Moyers where he talks about it, he says, I think it's worked out pretty well. I think so too. So the idea is we want to follow our bliss. All kinds of teachers talk about this. It's echoed again and again. I talk about some of that in the note. We've got so many other big ideas in here. What else do we want to cover in the minute that we have left? The emotional guidance system is the big thing. I'm going to wrap it up with that, actually. We have money and the law of attraction, a few of the big ideas we just talked about. The biggest one is we want to plug into source. It's not about a shortage of money or a shortage of energy or a shortage of time. It's about a shortage of the connection to the power that creates our universe. We got to figure out what works for us to plug in. Do the things that empower us. I talk about this again and again and again. What's the number one thing you could do that would most plug you into source? And what's the thing you need to stop doing? That when you do it, it's kind of like pulling the plug out of source, right? The negative, habitual, addictive behaviors that we all have that literally unplug us from source. We need to quit doing that. And we need to start doing the things that really solidify our connection and allow energy to flow through us. So that's a quick look at money and the law of attraction. Hope you dug it. Look forward to sharing more with you soon. Have an awesome day. See you.